I want to begin with a seemingly simple question. What does it mean to practice seriously an art form that did not originate in one's own cultural location? If you're watching this, you're probably already interested in belly dance. And somewhere within that interest, this question may be present for you, even though not fully articulated.
For many people today, belly dance enters their lives through attraction to its aesthetics, through performance, fitness, or personal empowerment. Speaking for myself, none of these entry points are wrong. They simply remind us how easily we are drawn toward what excites us, moves us, or awakens something in us, especially when it comes from a culture that is different from our own.
But for someone who's deeply interested in the practice and consumption of belly dance, something can feel incomplete when the practice is entirely disconnected from its culture of origin. I want you to take a moment here. Does what I'm saying resonate with you? If so, where do you feel that incompleteness in the body? And what does it feel like when something of meaning is unacknowledged, ungrounded, unnamed?
For me, speaking about the cultural context and history of this dance is not an academic exercise. It is a part of practice itself. It is a form of due diligence, a way of taking responsibility and of honoring those who carried this knowledge through time across regions and cultures. For better or worse, this form has traveled, transformed, and ultimately deeply enamored me. Before going any further, I want to be clear about what this video series is and what it is not. What I'm offering here is not a definitive or exhaustive history of belly dance. Much of what we know about early movement traditions comes from fragments, visual records, travel accounts, anthropological observation, and cultural memory. Like all historical sources, these are partial. They are shaped by power, by translation, and in the case of Eastern traditions, often by perspectives of those looking from outside in. I'm not presenting a singular origin story. I do not believe such a story is even possible. I'm also not claiming authority over cultures that are not my own. In fact, as someone shaped by post-colonial South Asia, I'm often uncertain of the extent to which I hold authority even over my own culture of birth. This series is about context, not conclusions. It is an invitation for you to locate yourself more authentically within the practice as I share my own process of doing the same. In this first chapter, I want to set the ground for what follows. Over the next few minutes, I will touch on what we generally mean when we say belly dance, why naming matters, how my own social location shapes the way I approach this dance form, the historical timeline that will structure this series, and finally, what we can responsibly say about ancient and pre-modern contexts. So what is belly dance? At its simplest, belly dance is an umbrella term used to describe a range of solo, improvised dance forms originating from regions across the Middle East, North Africa, Turkey, and parts of Greece with Anatolian and Armenian cultural connections. It is characterized by both fluid and staccato articulation of the torso, hips, and arms, often performed in relationship to complex rhythmic structures. Isolation and control, rhythmic nuance, the responsiveness to music are central features. Beyond performance, these dances have historically existed within social and celebratory contexts, including weddings, gatherings, and communal life. Over time, belly dance has evolved and adapted, absorbing influences of many regions and historical moments. Contemporary forms often blend traditional movement vocabularies with modern aesthetics and pedagogical systems. At the same time, the term itself is misleading. Belly dance, the name, is not indigenous to the cultures from which these dances emerged. It derives from the French phrase danse du ventre, meaning dance of the belly, popularized in the 19th century through Orientalist art and colonial spectacle. The English term appeared in print in 1889 during coverage of the Rue du Caire exhibit in the Paris Exposition Universelle. This naming reflects commercial interests and cultural fantasy. It reduces a complex, full-bodied movement practice to a single body part, reinforcing a sensationalized lens that still shapes perception today. In response to this, some practitioners and scholars now use the term Menat, M-E-N-A-T, or Menhet, which is M-E-N-A-H-T, referring broadly to Middle Eastern, North African, and Turkish or Hellenic dance traditions. While not without limitations, this term represents an effort within contemporary discourse around belly dance to move toward greater geographic specificity and accountability in naming. Before going further, it is important for me to locate myself. I was born in India in the mid-1980s. I'm a cisgender heterosexual woman and part of the Indian middle class, with access to education and mobility, though not necessarily capital. This description offers only a partial picture. What matters more is how social location shapes perception, what draws us to a form, how we interpret it, and how we inhabit it. Two aspects of my relationship to belly dance stand out. The first is a sense of empathy shaped by living within the legacy of colonization. Through the English language and colonial education, I came to see parallels between histories of belly dance, yoga, and even Indian classical dance forms like Bharatanatyam, all of which were framed, regulated, or extracted under colonial conditions. The second seemingly contradictory experience was deeply embodied. My body felt as though it already knew this movement language. Belly dance allowed me to inhabit parts of the female body that have long been shamed, controlled, or commodified through patriarchal lenses. The tension between these two experiences, intellectual empathy and embodied recognition, is what compelled me to study the cultural contexts of this dance more closely. This brings us to the ancient and pre-modern contexts. When we turn towards these periods, an important clarification needs to be made. Archaeology does not give us dances, it gives us traces. We do not have choreographic manuals, named techniques, or instructional systems of ancient societies in the Menat region. There is no evidence of codified dance forms resembling what we practice today. What we do have are material remains, wall paintings, reliefs, figurines, musical instruments, and the spaces in which these objects were found. Across the region, we repeatedly encounter visual depiction of human figures in rhythmic or gestural postures. Bodies appear with bent knees, curved spines, articulated torsos, and lifted arms, often alongside musicians, particularly percussionists. Just as important is where these images appear. They are found in domestic spaces, ritual contexts, burial sites, and communal environments, not in theaters or formal performance venues. This suggests that movement was embedded in social and ritual life rather than staged for spectatorship. We also encounter figurines that emphasize the abdomen, hips, and torso. These are not images of dancers, but they do point to which parts of the body carried symbolic and cultural meaning. When viewed alongside the prevalence of rhythmic-based musical instruments, a picture begins to emerge, not of a dance form but of a movement culture, one in which rhythm, bodily articulation, and communal participation were closely intertwined. For this reason, it is more accurate to say that what we encounter are not codified dance forms, but lived movement practices embedded in social and communal life across multiple regions. This is where continuity becomes a more useful concept than origin. Continuity does not mean that specific movements or styles have remained unchanged. What it points to instead is continuity of embodied knowledge, ways of relating to rhythm, ways of inhabiting the torso and pelvis as expressive centers, ways in which movement lives within community rather than on stage. These values exist long before naming, categorization, and global circulation.
Understanding this matters because it reminds us that what we practice today did not begin as a spectacle. This video essay is not meant to resolve questions but to open them. In the next chapter, we will move into a period where movement is no longer only lived, but increasingly described, understood, and framed by those looking from outside in. And here is where the story begins to shift.